equally great at Smith. Moments away, it'll be the Chicago Bulls going up against the San Antonio Spurs.
And this matchup with the Spurs, it's their first meeting of the season. A year ago, they each gained a victory at home, but couldn't secure a win on the road.
Yeah, interconference matchup, two teams that'll see each other only twice on the schedule.
And that makes it interesting. They don't know each other all that well, so we should see a lot of in-game adjustments.
Aldridge is standing by for our pregame report. David, good evening.
Well, Kevin, Kawhi Leonard has been a great defender from day one, but he has developed into an elite offensive player as well. Now, Greg Popovich says he basically tells me what...
And they need him to be that way, D.A. Thank you, especially after Tim Duncan's retirement and Manu and TP getting older. This is Kawhi's team now, for sure. This is a player, when you're looking at your team and how you're playing in these early stages of the season, what are some of the things you're looking for? What are some of the compass signs you've got to read here?
Well, you're hoping to see tendency. You're hoping to see the culture, which means that your guys are getting to the gym early, that they're practicing, that what you tell them is shoot around, they're paying attention to during the game, that it follows through. A lot of it is more than X's and O's. It's about that culture, that winning culture, where you're doing all the little things. So you want to make sure that everyone is all dialed in, that they're sacrificing, that the team is the most important thing to them in the season. Extra confidence.
Parker with it. Now defended by Grant from deep. Gasol. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker.
Yeah, the assist by Parker, just brilliant. Really seeing his teammates out there.
Mirotic, kick out to Levine. And it's Chicago scoring again.
Really well done there. Just confident and composed, never in a hurry.
Gasol, a screen on Grant. And Parker, here we go. Lopez with the block.
Well, Lopez is out there to set the tone defensively. I mean, he's a wily, strong defender who sends shots back with authority.
Here's Parker. Lays it in off the breakaway. Parker's got his first bucket in this one.
And that's up-tempo basketball at its best. So much easier to operate in the open court when a steal triggers the break.
And that replay brought to us by Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment. One of the more exciting plays in basketball. Spurs have gone 4 of 7 from the field, shooting over 50%. Leonard kicks to Aldridge. Parker outside. Aldridge with a screen on Grant. Parker dishes to Aldridge. Double team on Aldridge. Leonard on the wing. Shot clock at 5. From outside, off the mark.
And you can tell he thought that triple was going to fall.
The Spurs offense, one of the most efficient in the NBA. It's all predicated, Greg, on motion.
And it's ball movement and player movement. They kind of want to warp the defense and force mistakes, and that's when they strike.
Now Parker, after Zach LaVine missed from long range. Here's Gasol. Plenty of room to knock down the shot. Gasol's got 5 points so far.
And Gasol excels from that mid-range area. If you leave him open from there, you're going to pay the price.
And the Bulls with another miss. Spurs leading by 4. Just under 3.5 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Right side Leonard. Again, the Spurs good for 2.
And their offense already in a flow. Some stellar shooting to jump out to this lead.
Levine passes to Lopez. Here's Mirotic. And it's off from three-point range. Outside Green. Now the feed to Parker. Screened by Parker. Green to Leonard. Over Pondexter. And it's wide right. Hits off the rim.
Very dangerous to leave a guy like that open. Lucky break there for the D.
He dishes it to Levine. Some nice ball movement by the Bulls. And he can't stop this drought. Another miss. Takes the 13-footer. And Aldridge slams it in.
And Kevin,
And the follow gets their whole bench jumping. Look at them. They are really into it.
But that's all about going back to the fundamentals. Defensive rebounding, you got to have it, especially when you're getting waxed.
And the first time out of the game called for Chicago. Outplayed in the previous game on their schedule, losing to the Raptors.
And you know what? They were giving away points, missing at the line. A big factor in the outcome.
I mean, come on. How are you going to win on the road if you can't capitalize what's being?
Portis comes in for Mirotic. Markkanen, he's checked in for Quincy Pondexter. And Justin Holiday subbed in for Grant. 1:36 left in the quarter of the game.
Well, you have to.
Piece of it. And stolen by Gay. There's the basket and make it a double-digit lead.
And usually teams go on runs and it comes from a lot of layups and dunks, but not now.
Before his injury, Rudy Gay had made some strides on the defensive end. In general, Greg, he doesn't get enough credit sometimes for his impact on that side of the ball.
Yeah, Gay has always been a great ball hawk. I mean, he's got long arms to pick off lazy passes. He gets a good amount of blocks for a wing player as well. Very much so underrated when you talk about his defense.
Mills can't hit. Bulls trail by 7. Bean passes to Felicio. Markkanen in the corner. Here's Portis. Levine kicks to Felicio. Pass to Portis. Lets it go with a 3. But they'll get another chance. 6-second difference between the shot and game clock. 3-pointer. A rebound by Gasol. Gasol's got rebound number 5 here. Here's the 3, and there's Gay. That's good on the assist by Mills. Gay's got 5 points so far.
And from the opening tip, they just crushed it. You see it now on the scoreboard.
Yeah, particularly on offense, where they've been completely in sync. Terrific first quarter.
And that's out of bounds. Chicago will retain possession.
And defensively, great anticipation, making a play there on the ball.
And don't forget about the good hand-eye coordination. I mean, he almost corralled it in for the steal.
And after just 1 quarter of play, a double-digit differential on the scoreboard. Spurs out in front as they end the first quarter with a huge surge, an 18-7 run. And the second quarter will get underway just after this short break. And the San Antonio Spurs have really popularized
attack and find the open teammates.
There's a lot to be said for knowing, Greg, who you are and what your game plan is, and there may be no other team that gets that better than the San Antonio Spurs.
And Kevin, it helps to have that core of Manu and Tony there as the foundation and coaches on the floor for each new wave of players that have come through this Spurs organization.
Well, not exactly a close game so far, but as the second quarter starts here, plenty of time for a comeback. And taking a look at San Antonio's performance here, what do you think they've been doing or not doing?
Yeah, it didn't take them long to get that transition game going.
Well, this roster is built for guys with speed. They're running the floor hard in the first quarter.
They've got Portis. He's out there with Markkanen, and it's Holiday in at the 2-guard spot. So that's the 5 in the game for Chicago. Okay, well, let's go down to David Aldridge for a report from the sideline.
Well, Kevin, the Spurs have never been the flashy team in the NBA. Tony Parker said beautiful basketball is playing the right way. Ball movement, pure, beautiful basketball is the way we've played. You have all sorts of fans, and there should be something for everybody. Kevin, he told me a long time ago, if we were in New York, people would love us.
And during Popovich's time in San Antonio, the Spurs have always played together, D.A. Got to respect their team-first approach to the game. Ginobili gets the bucket.
And how about that lefty stroke there from Ginobili? It is a thing of beauty. He is dialed in from deep.
And Chris, you played during an era against a team that many consider the greatest of all time, that 96 Chicago Bulls team with Jordan and Pippen and a great roster. Just thinking back to that team during that second three-peat, what was it like when you were going up against that Bulls team?
So tough to play against that team. Jordan, arguably the best player that's ever, laced them up. And Pippen was so tough offensively and rebounding. Rodman as well on the boards. And then you had guys in a system that was, just really too much. It's hard to say. Of course, in my opinion, having played against them, they're the best team of all time. But Bill Russell once told me, ghosts can't play, so don't get caught up in comparing errors that you really can't prove it. So, yeah, of course, they're the best of all time to me, but it's fun watching these young kids play today.
Chicago making some changes. Quincy Pondexter, he's checked in for Felicio, and it's Grant in for Levine. The Spurs also changing it up. LaMarcus Aldridge is checked in for Gasol. Leonard comes in for Anderson, and again, Holiday missing.
And they've only got a slight edge on the boards, but it just feels a lot bigger.
Mills up again, and Leonard stays with it. Leonard's got his third bucket of the night.
Again and again, they're dissecting the defense and creating those.
Here's the floater, and a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. The Spurs have been perfect at the line so far, albeit just 2 for 2.
And they had a lot of success a season as a team, hitting about 80% of their free.
The critique of players or officials or organizations. Chris, how do you find that balance of candor and yet not being too critical, being too harsh?
Great question. The way I try to have an honest balance is to remember how I felt when it happened to me.
Interesting.
When you're a player, if someone comes with hard, credible evidence, I mean, it's true. You can't take anything personal. But when guys are just criticizing the same jump shot that you made last play, I'm not that guy. So, I try to keep a balance by being fair and honest, first of all, to the fans of that city and that state, and letting them know how great their team is, but also that maybe their team is playing lazy. Maybe look at this effort not out there by the floor. But also, in a blowout game, I also give the team that's losing by 30 just as much as I do the winning team, because those guys work just as hard. This is just a specific night they didn't play that well. So I just try to make every game as special as it is to me from being the kid. 2 or 3 stupid things, then you're a stupid player that night. Just being honest, having fun. And I've gotten some calls from players, and I don't care. I'm not hard to find. And I just try to have fun, be honest, and no hard feelings, man.
Lopez, he's checked in for Chicago. Mirotic comes in for Markkanen. The Spurs also with the sub. Parker's checked in.
It's a +5 advantage for them in rebounding after that one.
Aldridge a screen. There's Green with the 3. Kept alive. Goes back up. And Mirotic sends it back. Holiday with it. He's picked up by Parker. Lets it go from deep. Mirotic's shot is off.
He hit 1 3 in the first, but the well has been totally dry for him in the second.
Murray kicks to Aldridge. The Spurs working the ball around now. And the wide open shot from Green. That drops, timeout. And it comes off an assist from Parker.
Well, that's a shot they'll be happy with on every trip, no matter who's taking it.
Chicago calls timeout. And Tony Parker in the 2017 season with the lowest minutes per game average in his career. He was playing so well in the playoffs. I mean, historically well. Then, Greg, as we know, the quad injury in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's pretty clear that 15-year run he's had as a starter, that window is rapidly closing. But still effective, just no longer the focal point that he once was.
Kicks it to Pondexter. Back to Grant. Over Parker. That one a little long.
Defensively, they could have done better. That's an open look he'd like to have back.
The drive by Green. Rebound by Pondexter.
Aggressive move to the bucket, and the D is ready for it.
Holiday, the pass to Grant. Basket counts.
No clue how he got that one to fall.
So for the Bulls, Felicio comes in for Quincy Pondexter. And Levine subbed in for Justin Holiday. The Spurs also with the sub. Kyle Anderson, he's checked in for Murray.
And the Spurs last season, how about setting the all-time record for consecutive winning seasons with 20? This is a group that's won 50 or more games in every one of those seasons except the strike short 29.
Wasted no time on that one. Lopez has got his first basket.
Lopez is super agile in the open court. Look how hard he sprints to the rim in these situations.
A floater, and Parker with the layup. And Greg, for the Spurs, they're so competitive. It's inevitable. They just win year after year.
Yeah, but that big three of Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, the all-time winningest trio in the history of our league, had a lot to do with it. And as that era comes to an end, they're doing a terrific job of just picking up new star talent without skipping a beat.
And so it's San Antonio with Aldridge. Can't get that one to fall. Grant kicks to Levine. Passes it to Felicio. That's good. And it's Levine with the assist.
For that one.
That rebound was up for grabs to get, but his length really was the determining factor in him coming away with it.
And so it's the San Antonio Spurs up. And now they are scoring with ease. It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thanks, Kevin. Kawhi, you have grown so much offensively throughout your career. What's the focus at that end of the floor?
You know, just knocking down open shots, my ball handling, making good decisions off the pick and roll, and just try to limit my turnovers.
And you've done well so far, Kawhi. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. And we'll be right back after halftime to start the third quarter. See you in just a bit.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, folks. Ernie Johnson here alongside Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. It's San Antonio out on top at halftime. They are leading by 12. Shaq, what did you see from San Antonio?
Well, Kenny knows about this. I used to do this to his team all the time. Take advantage of you down low. Mismatch. Barbecue chicken alert. Make good entry passes. That led to some good looks, obviously a lot of points. When you control the paint, Ernie, you control the game. I was the master of controlling the paint. Shaquille.
And Kenny, that's it for now as the
And as we welcome you back, we begin our second half. So far, not a tightly contested game, guys, but, you know, anything can happen. One guy who's been getting it done is Danny Green.
Yeah, so far they haven't found an answer for him, a scoring machine here in that first half.
Oh, well, he's a tricky cover. He does a good job of sensing the defense, making the right move at the right time.
Spurs leading by 12. On the court right now for the Spurs, Aldridge and Kawhi Leonard, the two stars at the forward spots. Parker and Green are the guard set, and it's Gasol, and at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Here's Leonard. Good D by Lopez. And Chicago shooting about 35% from the floor, not much falling for them. It's stolen by Green. Grant against Parker. Leonard kicks to Aldridge. That's good, and it's Leonard with the assist. Aldridge has got the first basket of the third quarter for the Spurs. Levine against Green. Three-pointer, Pondexter. San Antonio with the rebound. They led the game at 1 point by 20. They're coming off that win against Minnesota.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, I thought the opponent's defense just never showed up.
Oh, but I like that they attacked those weaknesses. They made them pay for a lackluster effort.
And here's Green outside. That doesn't go either for Green.
He's tried to get it going, but the shots simply have not been there. Nothing seems to be falling.
And the Bulls with another miss.
0 for 3 now since halftime. Taking them a little while to find their rhythm.
And Danny Green, undrafted out of North Carolina. He's been a linchpin of the Spurs' great defense over his career.
You know, 6'6" with that 6'10" wingspan. This is a guy that can block shots like a big man, guards three positions, and one of the guys that we call the prototype when you talk about that 3 and D wing player.
Chicago calls timeout.
Yeah, the amount of points they've given up here in the paint, that's what they got to talk about.
Oh, this is ugly. No question about it. And you wonder if these matchups aren't favoring them right now.
Bobby Portis is checked in for Chicago. Then for the Spurs, Rudy Gay's checked in for Leonard. Ginobili comes in for Green, and it's Mills in for Tony Parker. And we've got an update here, so let's check in with David Aldridge reporting from the sideline.
Well, guys, Kawhi Leonard has become a go-to scorer, but his focus still starts at the defensive end. He said, my mindset is the same every game. Whoever I'm playing against, I go in and try to stop their best scorer and then try to get myself going on the offensive end. Kevin?
And David, that's what you get with Kawhi. Mr. Consistency, one of the best two-way players in the game.
They needed that one. Maybe they'll get it going after 4 straight misses to start the half.
Aldridge a screen. Mills dishes to Ginobili. Aldridge with a screen on Levine. Ginobili the pass to Aldridge. Here's Gasol, and a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here.
And Pau Gasol, one of the most skilled 7-footers this league has ever seen. Whether it's the low post, high post, flaring off picks, you want the ball in his hands. And Gasol is a guy who can do a multitude of things well. I mean, he scores it, rebounds it, passes it, just an all-around talent.
Levine for 3. The shot, no good. And San Antonio will go the other way with it. And Pau Gasol, a very good perimeter shooter, starting to stretch his range out beyond that 3-point arc.
Yeah, his face-up game is becoming more and more prominent. Working from that elbow, he's become more of a triple threat. He can shoot it, drive it, and pass at a high level.
Bulls trail by 19. Over to the wing. Back to Grant. Here's Pondexter. He's covered by Gay. Grant kicks to Lopez. And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle, and 2 shots coming up. They get Pau Gasol.
Well, and Robin Lopez, the big piece that came to the Bulls in the Derrick Rose trade. He's always been a solid center. Plays solid defense on the block and isn't lost when it's stretched out. He does a good job of protecting the rim as well.
And with Robin Lopez, a very imposing player on the court, but he's also one of the more colorful characters, Chris, in the league. A very, very funny guy.
Well, I don't know what happened with him and mascots as a kid, but he's been taking his revenge out on them his whole career. He brings a great vibe to the locker room that helps with that team chemistry.
And the call will be against Robin Lopez. That's his first foul. Markkanen, he's checked in for Chicago. Justin Holiday comes in for Jaren Grant. Anderson, he's checked in for the Spurs. Ginobili outside. Gasol dishes to Mills. It's deflected.
And how about Markkanen using his size and reach on defense? Great timing in terms of being able to get up and block shots.
Felicio's checked in for Quincy Pondexter. Third quarter of basketball here, and just a little under 3.5 minutes gone by.
Well, that's the shot they're looking for. A clean 3-pointer. Just can't get it to go.
Levine passes to Markkanen. Here's Portis, defended by Anderson. And Holiday kicks to Markkanen. Here's Portis. And again, no good by Chicago.
Just not much success when it comes to shooting.
Gay misses. Bulls trail by 20. They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've gone a long time without a bucket.
Kick out to Levine. Sinks the triple. Levine's got 8.
Wow. The defense is just daring him to shoot. I do not get it. I don't get it.
Gay kicks to Mills from outside the arc. Gets it to go from beyond the arc. He's got 8.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual agendas.
The pass to Markkanen. The dish to Holiday. 1:22 left in the third quarter. Portis, the pass to Levine. Tried to answer back, but that 3 is off the mark. Mills. Holiday against Gay. And here's Mills. He's got 8, and the 3 ball is good.
Now this is more like it. 9 points for him from 3-point range this half. That's 9 more than he had in the first.
Levine kicks to Felicio. Back to Levine. Shoots over Mills. And it's off the back rim. No good.
not a very consistent quarter for him in terms of the shooting.
And again, it's the Spurs from deep.
And they're getting their points now almost exclusively from the triple. 4 of their last 5 makes are from beyond the arc.
Markkanen with it. Out to the wing. Ginobili with the steal. The shot and game clock separated by 4. That shot no good. The Bulls shooting a low 30% right now. An ugly offensive performance. Felicio kicks to Markkanen. Holiday left side. Nice shot from the wing.
And you got to like the vision for Markkanen. I mean, a big man who knows how to find the open man.
Rudy Gay on the wing. The three-pointer is right on target. Gay's got 10.
And you can see the play calling this half. Another one from distance.
Well, that's because they made a concerted effort to get the shooters involved. Now they've built up the confidence.
And so it's the San Antonio Spurs rolling along with a 27-point lead as we wrap up the quarter. They've been playing some ferocious defense. We've got more in store for you right after this. And now a sneak peek into the huddle with Greg Popovich.
Everybody got to rotate, rebound.
And we welcome you back as we get going here in the fourth quarter. The final quarter of play can change everything. Chicago with the ball. Well, there have been a lot of great young big men come into the league over the last couple of years. Chris, do you think the post position is about to make a comeback in the league right now?
I think it definitely could make a comeback because of the players that we've seen enter into this game, like Cat and Davis and Embiid. But I also think that, you know, the game has grown because we've had to see players like Larry Bird on the post extend his game to three-point area. We got to see Akeem Olajuwon get the first big crossover. So I don't know if the game will ever be the same with traditional posts, but I do know the game is in good hands with guys that have great skill sets, and so the big man is definitely back.
We've got Valentine, also Mirotic out there, and it's Payne in at the point. So that's the 5 in the game for Chicago. And stolen by Murray. Here's the break. Drops in the breakaway layup.
Well, I like that he shows no hesitation there.
Yeah, while he's taking off, no one on the other side reacts. They give up the easy points.
And the replay is courtesy of Under Armour. Unleash chaos. It was a great sequence from the steal all the way to the finish at the other end.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but really in the rebounding numbers as well.
Laverne dishes to Murray. Shoots from 12. That one wide left. Now Chicago has gone 1 of 2 from three-point range here in the fourth. Here's Mirotic. And Mirotic, a player who hasn't made quite the jump in development that Chris, I think, his team was hoping for.
Yeah, Mirotic fans might have their expectations dampened a bit, but he's still a good player. He has one of the best pump fakes in the game because his shot is so good, but no idea how defenders keep falling for his pump fake. I mean, he uses it all the time.
And we know this league is enjoying great success. The Players Union going into last season created a program, Chris, to fund health insurance for all retired players with 3 or more years of service.
Well, I'm proud of our Players Union. I hope that other sports take lead. You know, you take care of those that come before you. That's one thing in the NBA we always know and the players will always respect. That's why it was a unanimous vote by the Players Association. It definitely was a proud moment. I'm proud of my NBA brothers.
Here's Felicio. And again, Chicago, no good. Spurs have gone 2 of 4 from the field since we started the final quarter of play. Bertans kicks to Murray. Off the pick. Count it. Good. Murray's got 4 points this quarter.
And that's what you give up when you don't fight over the screen.
A lot of times your defense is your offense is your defense. This is poor decision-making right here. You can't let them have that shot. Also might have been a lack of effort.
Payne can't hit. For San Antonio, they've gone 3 of 5 here in the fourth quarter. Pretty good numbers coming out of the break. Murray kicks to Forbes. Knocked away.
Out of bounds.
And out of bounds it is. Last touch by Mirotic. Feeds it to Forbes. Off the mark there with the three-point shot. They've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a bit of a dry spell for sure.
Kept alive. Back to Mirotic. Mirotic, the screen. Fires the three. Payne can't hit. Smooth sailing for San Antonio. They've only given up 5 points here in the fourth quarter. And we're about 3.5 minutes into the fourth quarter. Here's Laverne. Mirotic grabs the miss.
Yeah, that's just poor decision-making. He's got to be better in those situations.
I'd love to hear his explanation of coach right there. I mean, that should be an interesting conversation.
Out to the right wing. And Forbes kicks to Laverne. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. And there's the foul. It'll go on Denzel Valentine. That is his first foul of the game. So for the Bulls, Markkanen, he's checked in for Mirotic, and it's done in for Payne. The Spurs also with the sub. Ginobili's checked in. Clock at 6. Murray kicks to Ginobili. From deep. From beyond the arc, and then some. Chicago has gone 1 of 3 from outside the arc since we've reached the fourth quarter. To the left side wing. Laverne with the steal. 1:46 left in the fourth quarter. Ginobili kicks to Laverne. Back to Ginobili. 5 to shoot. They set the pick from deep three-point range. Chicago grabs the miss. Felicio's got his 6th rebound on the night.
And so it's going to end up in the record books as a blowout, a dominating performance for the Spurs.
It was a standout performance across the board.
I mean, it was like watching a cat play with a mouse. They were able to do more or less whatever they wanted.
And so with this, they'll end up with their 2nd win on the year.
And with the win approaching, they'll take the first game here of 2 that they'll play against this team. Nice to get that first one out of the way and set the tone.
And what a tremendous standout performance it was for Gabe.
Well, he had a hand in just about everything they did tonight. I mean, he just didn't take a single possession off on either end. He was the complete package.
Here's Nwaba. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
You know, I love how he absorbs the foul and still had a chance to knock that one down.
Well, the big story from the Bulls last offseason was trading Jimmy Butler. It had to be. He had strife with the front office, problems with players. Both sides seemed to want to move on.
Chicago making a switch here. Holiday's checked in. Anderson the screen. 32 seconds left in the fourth quarter. There's a screen. It's Ginobili with the drive, using his post move to get the 2 points.
And leaving nothing to chance here on this game-clinching run.
Yeah, that offense shifted into high gear. I love the attack mindset.
Now, that's what we're talking about in terms of the activity level defensively. You got to protect the rim.
Well, that takes physical ability, good timing, those 2 things that he possessed.
And there's the whistle. That goes on Chris Dunn. That is his first foul of the game.
You know what? You've got to always be in control of your emotions.
Now Murray. Tipped away. And out of bounds as Chicago gains possession. And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. To come into an opponent's building and dominate the way they did tonight says, I think, Greg, an awful lot about this team.
I guess they don't need home cooking to feel at home. I mean, Kevin, just a masterful performance all the way around.
And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. For Greg Anthony.